An Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Masturbators, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello. I got it right this week. Haha.
What'd you get
Welcome
right?
back. The intro.
Oh,
I hit the An Evening at the Movies network plug instead of the Reapers network plug.
yeah, but it took you 37 seconds.
That's because, well, it has been a change since the last time we recorded, and he who shall not be named was correct, and evidently for us to go live on Twitter, I have to upgrade my Twitter account to a premium account.
Well, that's
So-
definitely you because mine wasn't like that. But
No,
are you streaming because I don't see it.
oh,
Wah,
talk
wah,
among-
wah.
talk amongst yourselves.
Wah 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 wah. Yeah. So oh yes, this is what I was going to say. I knew I had something to tell you. This is the first time I have put on makeup in over 2 weeks. You guys are welcome. Figure after I scared everybody last week, I should put some makeup on this time. I'm also leaving the house for the first time tomorrow.
That's cool. I mean, the second part's awesome, but I'm not going to thank you for the first part because I didn't care either way.
Okay. Well, tomorrow
Yeah.
it's only for a doctor's appointment, so I'm not doing anything fun. But
Hey, it counts.
yeah.
Me, I mean, honestly, me just a couple days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago exactly. I was saying that I left my house for the first time without having to go to a doctor's appointment out of town and didn't have some type of impending doom feeling, panic attack, and inducing
Hey,
situation.
Chancey, I'm sorry. I am sorry to interrupt. I have to take a call really quick. I am so sorry, you guys.
You're fine. You don't have to apologize.
Well, it's on the Facebook page now, by the way.
Facebook
Well,
can. No, I was gonna say Facebook can watch Amanda take a call.
On that note, shameless advertisement plug. Snap it to a Slim Jim.
Oh yeah! Everybody knows about the Macho Man with the cream always rise to the top. But ain't nothing but a freak out. Macho Man was never my forte for throwing voice. I mean, I could always do it, but it's a really difficult one to maintain. Like, everyone just thinks that it's all about doing the thing. But he had a wide range of motion, or wide range of sound anyway. But like,
Yeah.
my favorite was always Andre the Giant. Like, anybody want a peanut? No more baby oil. I don't want no more balls, baby oil.
Problem with Mach is like you have to get the whole varied emotional roller coaster, but then you have to get like every ounce of every cliche that he could come up with under the sun and
Yeah,
weave it into one fucking conversation.
like there's one comedian that I'll always shout out because of this. His name is Dan Soder. He does probably, I would say, out of anybody I've heard do it, the best Macho Man and Andre the Giant impressions like ever.
Nice.
Like he's solid. Like he'll be there. Like he was on a radio show on Sirius XM, and he'd be all like, just talking like the Macho Man, getting the show started. How's everybody doing today? But he could also go from there to the ramp up, because that's what's difficult about it is like, either you can do the low end and talk, or you could get all excited up on the up end. But being able to take it down low and then go up high, that's where you get that dissonance there. This fucking thing, thank you for coming to my terrible fucking TED Talk. Fucking, how about 6 minutes worth of me fucking doing terrible Macho Man impressions?
I mean, it hasn't been 6 minutes yet. We still had a couple minutes of brief intro.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
So-
You're right.
All of the amazing listeners are tuning into what the hell are we doing for this episode, but Casey's not saying, and they're just talking about freaking Macho Man Randy Savage and snapping into a Slim Jim.
Tell you what, though, I mean, since we're talking about wrestling, if I'm going to talk about old school wrestling anyway, can't not bring up Jake the Snake Roberts in his promos from this Tuesday in Texas. Like,
Oh my God, he was
The-
absolutely
the-
fucking phenomenal.
before and after the match, like both of those promos, and the way he did the quiet talking, and so much nuanced stuff that that's part of the reason why I got into it as much as I did, was those subtle nuances and the certain characters who did certain things anyway. Welcome back, Amanda. How
So
are you today?
I apologize to you guys and to everybody that's watching or listening. But I feel like anybody who's been through this will understand. Trying to buy a house, and so that was my realtor, and so I apologize. And I even told her, I was like, okay. I don't want to cut you off, but I have to go. And I told her, and she's like, why'd you answer the phone? And I'm like, because no offense, this is more important. So anyway, I'm sorry. I appreciate it.
Hello, Amanda.
I do not want to play a game.
I wanted to discuss a movie franchise.
Okay.
Crappy one, but I digress.
Third best.
Like we were talking about before we were interrupted.
My terrible
is-
impressions.
Welcome
No,
back,
that might-
everybody, to your favorite movie-based podcast. This isn't even at the movies. The podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, drink the watered-down sodas, and as of this week,
Or
we
wine.
snap into a Slim Jim. And, well, occasionally, well, not occasionally, almost every freaking episode, Amanda will imbibe in the
Okay.
alcohol, otherwise known as the wine.
Can I tell you that I used to, like when I was younger, I always thought he was saying step into a Slim Jim. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, how do you
Not for doing Slim Jim.
I was like, what is step into a Slim Jim? What the fuck is that? Okay. I have also
That's
had
awesome.
a gummy and it's starting to kick in.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes. Well, before we get into the movie, last week.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I still have to introduce you guys. So,
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, because we're not self-introductory.
Yeah.
well, I mean, you guys have been here enough that you should know. But everybody, my left, your right, Amanda. Say hi,
the only
Amanda.
woman on the screen. You're good. It's me.
You don't know what pronoun
I'm the
Chancey
problem, it's
identifies with.
me. Sorry,
I mean,
that plays into the game we're gonna play. It's not Taylor Swift. Relax.
What? No, I wasn't thinking about Taylor Swift. I was just curious. I was like,
Well, the lyric I just sang was Taylor Swift, so that's why I said that.
Oh yeah, I caught that, but I just was,
Okay.
not paying attention, I guess. I don't know. I was more curious about the game. I didn't even think it had anything to do with Taylor Swift, because that was
doesn't.
also that would have been a totally like a secondary thought process that I would have went on a little like, okay, so commonalities of Taylor Swift and this movie in particular.
They both do a lot of shit in the woods. She has 2 full albums that are about being out in the woods doing woodsy shit.
Oh, I was thinking more so of the commonality being like, fire to slaughter a camp full of people while it plays over the speaker because I can't find the radio to shut it off. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
She has a song called Cruel Summer, and these people had a cruel summer. So there you go.
I'm teasing. That's hilarious though.
All right, anyway, it's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me, Amanda, and I'm here. I'm excited.
Last intro. Everybody's favorite psychotic meltdowner. Say hi, Chance.
Hi, Chance.
Hey, yo.
Hi.
Hi.
Which goes right along with what we were doing while Amanda was off on her phone call.
Nice.
If you know, you know.
Well, I don't know, but thanks.
It's a wrestling impression.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed nothing. That's good. Well, do you want to tell everybody what movie we're talking about, and then we can do my little game that I have for us?
Absolutely. We're going to talk about a third tier horror franchise
Word.
this week. It was
We
not
still like it.
better than the OG greatest of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street, or the second tier greatest of all time, Halloween.
There is no Nightmare on Elm Street without Halloween, and Halloween did it better. Anyway.
Where's the hell did the damn 3 little circles so I can mute her?
Too late.
I know, but I'll still. If you think I'm done talking shit about Halloween at this point, you are sorely mistaken, co-host.
You're allowed to be wrong and sit there in your wrongness of your opinions. Like,
oh, I will be
Fine.
fucking wrong if I want to be fucking wrong. But I'm right because Nightmare on Elm Street is far
come on,
superior.
Chancey. Tell him.
Me, just me bebopping down here, thinking to myself how there would be no Michael or Freddy without Leatherface because that shit came out 4 years earlier.
I disagree because
it
wasn't even part of the inspiration for Halloween. If you're going to go that route, you should be saying Black Christmas. There'd be no Michael without Black Christmas. But anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean that's if we're gonna talk about running the gamut for like holidays, yeah, valid.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, unfortunately.
No. We're going to talk about not going to Manhattan on a boat.
And not in space this time.
Or definitely not in fucking outer space with a freaking
Jason does have that on everybody else, though. Michael and Freddy never went to space. Neither did Leatherface. Like, I mean, come on. They didn't even leave their hometowns. I can't see that, Chancey. I'm sorry.
Pinhead.
Oh, nice.
Your least favorite horror book of all time.
Space?
Yeah, number 4.
No, nobody cares about that. Sorry.
Bloodline. It's like an anthology kind of a film where it follows the descendants of the creator of the box, and in the beginning / end of the film, the descendant of the creator of the box creates this giant space station that like completed the mathematical configuration that their great infinite great grandfather created to kill the evil in the box.
Okay, honey, sweetie, baby cakes. I know that you love Pinhead and Hellraiser, and I do not begrudge you that at all. But if you ask any random person on the street, top 4, even 5 horror villains, I would say less than 10% are saying Pinhead. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're probably right, but none of the other people
There's an
that
excuse.
none of the other people, with the exception of Hannibal Lecter, could be, described as so elegant.
If you say so.
What do you mean?
Friday
He's
the
such an
13th, woo!
he's such an eloquent speaker.
Hannibal Lecter? Yes, he is. Is
And
Pennywise?
yeah, oh yeah, that's one of the things.
Well, so is
like-
Candyman.
Okay,
Candyman
I'll give it.
talks like a fucking poet.
I'll give it to him, but I mean, I'm thinking it was the coat. that was what had her swooning. All right, she was all about that coat.
She wanted to grind on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
We are here to review the original Friday the 13th, 1980. But
Yes, ma'am.
before we get to that, so I want to say last week, but I actually don't know what order these episodes are airing in. So I hope it was last week, but who knows? At some point in recent
3
time,
Minute a Baby. Last week was 3 Minute a Baby. The week before that was Axel F.
well, I don't remember which one we did this on. I want to say it was 3 Minute a Baby. But anyway, Casey introduced a game of Would You Rather, and it had to do with the movie, and it was really cool. And so I asked him if he had one for this movie, and he said not really. And I thought about doing one, but I've seen this thing on TikTok. I watched like several of these yesterday. Chancey's a little younger than us, so I just want to see how differently we all answer. So basically what it is you're going to finish a song lyric. I'm going to say something, and then you're going to finish it. And
All right.
basically the way you finish it basically kind of says what generation you are or whatever.
Okay. Who goes first?
Chancey, you're going to go first, and then Casey, and then we'll go back and forth, and I'll tell you mine at the end.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't influence anything. All right. We're going to start with an easy one, Chancey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I'm going to tell you mine after you guys go. Okay. Never gonna
Give you up.
Okay. Casey? And if that's what you had, that's fine. If that's the only thing you thought of, that's fine too. I just want to know how we all answer.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
That was mine. I
Surprise,
I
surprise.
thought of Never Gonna Give You Up and Never Gonna Get It at the exact same time. Good one. Good job. Okay, Casey, we'll let you start. Tell me.
Something girl.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shallow. I like it. Chancey.
About the good old days.
Ooh, good one. Okay, I had Tell Me Why.
Of course. Of course. I should have placed a bet on that one.
Okay, Chancey, your turn.
Yes.
Everybody.
Everybody. Let's do the twist. Or no, that's Come On Baby. Damn it. I fucked that up.
Oh, so close.
I know, right? I'm fucking gonna have to do it, and I hate myself for it. Rock Your Body.
Yes.
I hate it. I hate myself.
Rock. All right.
I hate myself.
Casey.
Yeah, that was the same one I had.
So my first thought was Everybody Dance Now. Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
I forgot about that.
Casey, you get to start. Hey now.
Oh,
Hey now. You're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play.
Okay. Chancey?
hey now. Yeah. No? You know? Hey now, hey
Hey,
now.
now. That was mine. Don't dream it's
Yeah.
over. You didn't
Yeah.
sing it. That's why I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was mine too. I would say that is in my top 5 of favorite 80s songs. I adore that song.
Hmm.
Okay. Chancey,
Yes.
blame it on the
Oh Jesus
Rain?
Christ!
okay. Casey?
Same.
Okay. I also said rain, but just to throw another answer in there, blame it on the alcohol. T-Pain.
Well,
Jamie
that's
Foxx.
easy for you. Broken ankle. Blame it on the alcohol.
Fuck you.
Hey. I
Fuck all the
I mean,
way off.
hey, I
Until you
mean,
can't fuck off anymore. Okay, 2 more.
I'm just
Yes.
trying to get the blame off of Chancey and myself.
Yeah, it's never happening, by the way. Okay, 2 more. Casey.
Yes.
Casey.
Uh-huh.
Stop.
You're muted,
I
bro.
can't hear you, buddy.
I'm pretty sure you're
Maybe
doing
you
Ice
can
Ice
do it.
Baby, but
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Do it again. Stop. Collaborate and
And listen, ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabbed a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever
When
stop?
are they gonna
Yo,
stop?
I don't know.
Okay, we have to stop or we'll do the whole
Turn off
thing.
the lights and I'll
I'll
glow.
glow.
I probably just went too far, and we probably just got copyrighted.
Nah, I don't think so.
YouTube.
We're just singing it and we are nowhere near the same. All right, Chancey, stop.
I got
Hey,
another one.
what's that sound?
Everybody look, let's go. Good one. Okay,
Honestly, before I put any thought into it, my gut response was actually Hammer Time.
that was mine. Immediate response, hammer time.
That was the other one
Or-
that I had.
Stop in the name of love. Okay, last one. Chancey, you get to start. I will.
I
Hi,
will.
Chancey, yelling to help you? Or is she yelling
Huh?
at you?
Oh no, she's yelling at Raxus and Colton. What was it? Oh, I'm sorry.
I
What was it
will.
again? Oh, I will. Make love to you.
Nice. Okay, I'll give you that, even though it's a little but okay. Casey.
I will survive.
Ooh,
That was all
good
right. Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's a good one.
My first one was I will buy you a new life.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a solid one.
And everybody forgot I will always love you. Or I
No.
will cherish you. Oh wait, that's I do. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, yeah. No, I skipped it specifically because I figured it was somebody else's already.
So yeah, good job, guys. I thought that was a little fun. I just wanted to see. It's interesting how we all like a lot of the same music, but we still you hear something and you have an immediate response, and it's usually because of a core memory or a favorite thing that you've done over and over. And it's like it could be one of like 5 answers, but it's different depending on the person for like what is important to you. So I thought it was a cool exercise. All right. Stop. Hammer time.
So it still won't let me change it now because we're mid episode, but we are officially premium on the Twitter now as well. So next week when we are here with Shanna, we can go live on all of our 3 main platforms. So I feel like
Word.
us not being on Twitter this week is going to fuck with our streak of potentially having 3 weeks in a row of triple digit viewers, but oh well, it's only Friday the 13th.
That just means that the next time around we'll just have to do such an awesome job that we blow everything else out of the water.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you've seen the numbers for the last 2 episodes that we've done, you know, at one point, yeah, like Beverly Hills Cop, like 2 days after it released, was like 40 listens ahead of the former number one most listened to episode. So,
Nice.
and 3 Men and a Baby was doing just as well the last time I looked. I just don't have the official number.
Look, it's
So-
a doggy.
Jack your poo.
It's like, no pictures, Mom, please. Every time. So,
I'm not your damn show pony.
yes, you are.
Yes, he always is. So, really quick before we get into the discussion, as always, you guys all know we go down the rabbit hole of background information on the movie. So, Friday the 13th, released on May 9th, 1980, was directed by Sean S. Cunningham, was distributed by Paramount Pictures, had a $550,000 budget. And would we like to guess what the profit margin for the first Friday the 13th was?
I'm gonna say the box office was maybe like 800,000. Actually, I take it back. I'm gonna say 1.1 million.
I'll go.
$1, Bob.
Yeah. I'll go whatever that was and one more dollar. No, honestly, I think it for it to have done like it did, especially with, that behind the scenes stuff that I got sorted out, I would say that the profit margin was probably like I don't know, like 30 million.
What? In
both,
1980?
you both would be horrifically wrong.
I mean, it's riding the coattails of Halloween, so it had to do really well.
Yeah, and it's laying the groundwork for the greatest of all time.
What was it? What was it?
$59.8 million
Was the profit or the box office?
was the box office.
Sorry, box office. But still, okay. If you think you got if you got a $500,000, if you got a $500,000 budget, and then you just say you double it for promotion, that's still 45 some odd million profit.
That's what I was going to say. It's like the budget was $550 million. The box office was 59.8. So subtract 500,000. So it made $59.3 million.
That's crazy.
I thought 30 mil was a bit. I thought 30 mil was a bit egregious. I really was gonna go crazy and say something ridiculously high like 50, but I was like, nah, dude, 50's dumb. That's way dumb. I'd have been so pissed if I had said 50, though. I mean, I'm not playing. I'd have been so fucking mad.
It's bananas.
I'm not gonna spoil the Rotten Tomato game, but really quick before we get to that,
I fucking love that video game.
Friday the 13th, you can find it currently on the Max. And with all that said, it's time to rip off the Band-Aid and make our esteemed guesses as to what the tomato meter and audience scores are on Rotten Tomatoes for Friday the 13th.
I thought about this for a while.
Amanda.
Oh, okay. I'm going to call the tomato meter 61%. I'm going to call the audience score. I keep going back and forth between two numbers.
That's what she said.
It's because I know what I know, but I also know how. Okay, never mind. I'm going to call the audience score 69%. I think they're going to be close.
Chance the Rapper.
Well, I was going to put the tomato meter at 60%,
Oh,
but since Amanda said it was at 61%, I'm going to say that it's at 65%.
oh,
And
okay.
then for the audience, wait, where did you put the audience meter?
I put the
69.
audience meter at 69.
69. Ooh.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I'm not sorry, but anyway.
You know, I don't-
69, dude.
with as much. Oh wait. Oh shit. This is fuck it. I'm making the decision. I'm going with it. I wouldn't go 69. I'd say like 59. I'll go 59.
Oh, you're putting the audience lower than tomato. Interesting. Okay.
Wait.
So
It's
literally,
it's not the same.
are we?
No,
like-
so the
are
audience
we
score is separate from the tomato score. The tomato score is critics. The audience score is audience. But Chancey,
Fuck it. Lock it in. Lock it in.
Chancey,
I don't
you
care.
have to remember that Rotten Tomatoes did not exist when this movie came out, and that affects the audience score.
Okay, I suppose. I suppose so. Here, you're right. I should have probably went a
you
little
already
higher. I should have
locked
probably
in.
went higher. Yeah.
You already locked it in, so everything is final. And I will say this: one of you was exactly 1% off on both of your guesses. Drum roll, please.
Don't do it.
With a Rotten Tomato score of 66%
Motherfucker.
and a audience score of 60%. Chancey Greif basically nailed both scores.
This is such fucking bullshit.
No, that
This is
was
such
you.
fucking. You said the audience score was
Really?
69.
Oh, so I got basically the same numbers but backwards. I said the tomato meter was like 61 and the audience was 69. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it backwards. That's what it was. Good job, Chancey. Stop, Casey. I believe you.
I'm so fucking pissed off.
Why?
That's so dumb. That's like that old man in that insurance commercial with that dog. Like, oh, you gotta be a little quicker than that.
Wait, the audience score was lower than the tomato meter? That's rare.
Well, I see.
Again,
Like
you have to, like you said, there was no Rotten Tomatoes back in 1980.
Well, that's
And-
why I thought the audience would be low, because people watching it now aren't going to watch it like we watched it then.
And before I fucked up and realized that I was ass backwards, I was like, well, that's going to have to be low because the movie's always caught so much fucking flack from like the MPAA and critics and all that nonsense. So I figured it was just that was just going to be like atrociously low. But also thinking about it now that I know like which side's which, it actually also makes sense why this would be lower as well. Because if somebody goes to watch a Friday the 13th movie, like, hey, who wants to watch a Jason movie? And then they start at number 1, and then they're gonna rate it and be like, what the fuck is this? So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
What the fuck? 1 fucking
Well, I mean,
percent. Son of a
Oh.
bitch.
Good job.
The killer doesn't even show up until the freaking last 10
And it's
minutes
not
of the
even
movie.
Jason.
No, 'cause that, brief anecdote before we get going into the heart of the episode, but this was not the first Friday the 13th movie that I had seen. So,
Really?
yeah. So when I finally watched this movie as a kid and talking shit throughout the whole movie about, ooh, Jason's gonna get you. Ooh, Jason's gonna kill you. Jason, 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 Jason. And then all of a sudden, you get slapped in the face with the reveal in the last, 15 minutes of the movie who the killer is.
Yeah.
And, well, fuck it, let's just do it because the movie's 44 years old. So I ain't worried about spoilers, and you were warned in the intro. But yeah, to find out that it was his mom that did the killing in the first one and not Jason.
Yeah, but it sets
My
up the whole
11-year-old
franchise.
mind was blown.
So
Well, it's a
before I go on, before I go off on my before I go off on my talking point about Jason's mom, what was the first one you saw before you watched the first one?
3.
Oh wow, okay. All right.
I saw them all
Only
in order,
because
but 4 is the first one
was
I really remember.
3D.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, I didn't watch the original Nightmare on Elm Street first either.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, wow.
Again, number 3.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah, I remember you saying that, yeah. So I always one thing I always thought was so awesome about not only the whole Jason's mom element, but like who the
has got
like not only the fact that they have that
Literally
twist there.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh she did it. It happened. But who they got to play Jason's mom, like at the time that was a big fucking deal. That was like
She was a character actress.
she was like America's mother. Like she was always known for like wholesome roles and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden she just so happens to need to buy a new car because her car shit out on her, and they're like,
that's why
yeah, yeah, right.
That's literally what she said in almost every interview that I've heard her in is, yeah, literally like I would have said no if it wasn't for the fact that my car broke down and I needed to get it fixed and I needed the money like right now.
But it solidified her in
Like-
horror cinema, and everybody adores her.
Right.
The amount of time she was, and the amount of time she was actually legitimately on the set for that movie was like 3 days.
Yeah, she didn't have to do much. And the scariest
Well, no,
thing
because
about her,
all
what?
the freaking her scream.
No, her teeth. Her teeth
Oh,
were
yeah,
so scary to me. I don't know why. They were straight, but they were white with like a yellowish tint, and they like gleamed. Like her teeth freaked me the fuck out. When they got yellow, like, kill her, mommy, kill her, kill her,
Get her, mommy. Get her.
don't let her live. Okay.
The Norman Bates-esque dialogue between Jason and his mommy
Yes,
in part 1.
very psycho. So I actually had some other fun facts. For what James just went to. Exactly. Do you know that Camp Crystal Lake is actually a real place in New Jersey? It's called Camp Nobi-Boxco. Yeah, interesting. Sean Cunningham directed sex education videos before this movie, like for schools and shit.
And his help with a
Yeah.
little ditty called "Last House on the Left."
Well, that too, but he wasn't a director on that. But yeah, I know he was on that.
I mean,
Well,
if
that
we're
was
talking,
100% the
Yeah.
king of
I mean,
horror, Wes Craven.
if we're talking about Sean Cunningham, this is where I'll throw the shade because I mean, I get that where we are because of it, but like the shameless just knockoff, the shameless ripping off and thieving of that of Halloween just to try and turn $1. It's like, come on, man. You got
But
like
everybody did it. Like I want
I
to be mad
know.
at him, but every fucking body did it. Like, you know, oh my gosh, I'm like losing track of all the movies. Like April Fool's Day, Valentine's Day, Graduation Day.
Prom
Just
night.
prom night, Mother's Day. Like everybody banked on this holiday thing once Halloween had the success that it did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Nightmare on Elm Street did not do that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to have a whole rant about this whole Friday the 13th scenario at some point, but not right now. Okay, so MTV has given Lifetime Achievement Awards out to three fictional monsters, and Jason was one of them. He got it in 1992.
Nice.
I know what that
I
means,
believe
but
he was actually the first one to get it.
Freddy versus Jason has a comic book series. I don't know if people knew that. So I just thought I would throw that in there because I read it and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Hold my beer.
Oh. And then I think we'll probably get into this, but it's interesting when you watch it now, we think Kevin Bacon was the biggest star of that movie. But really in 1980, he wasn't because it was Harry Is it Harry?
Yeah, Harry Crosby, Bing's
Crosby.
son.
Bill, who is fucking smoking hot. I don't know why he didn't have a bigger career, but it's interesting because nobody would know who he is today. Everybody knows Kevin Bacon, but it's like Kevin Bacon was like, a side piece to Harry Crosby.
He was actually one of my talking points as well because just him being Bing Crosby's son and
Yeah.
all that whole sordid thing, and then he does the song he plays the guitar and does the song in the movie, and it's just I kind of always wondered the same thing about why he kind of dropped off and went into investment banking like he did. But I mean,
imagine his childhood was plagued with all the stuff that Bing Crosby was probably involved in, not just, making delightful Christmas classics.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I
Go
found
ahead.
the comic. The ones that you can buy on Amazon. So actually, it's Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And the ones
Well,
that
Ash better
the ones
win.
that you can buy, the ones that you can buy on Amazon are $59.95 per book.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not outrageous for a, limited
It's a
comic.
collectible, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm fucking poor.
All right, so I have a very important question for you guys. And I'll let Casey start. If you were a flavor of ice cream, what flavor would you be? It's in the movie.
I know. I'm just thinking.
I was like, you guys are looking at me like I'm insane.
No, I'm thinking.
I'm thinking because
Okay, sorry.
that's totally not what I was expecting this question to be.
That's the only lighthearted question. I would go with Neapolitan for me.
Oh, you would.
I would.
Ugh.
But really only the strawberry and vanilla gets eaten. Or no, strawberry and chocolate.
True. I'm gonna go with cookies and cream.
Who?
Cookies and cream, I think he said.
Cookies and cream. Na, na, na. Fancy?
I would go with chocolate marshmallow ripple.
Ooh. Okay. Good one. Good one. I don't think we need to I mean, we already passed this point, but it's not like we need to describe the plot of Friday the 13th. I mean, it's a summer camp. There's counselors, sex
Baby,
and murder.
baby
ensues.
Jason drowns in the fucking lake, and his mom comes back and extracts revenge 15 years later. There you go. There's the plot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
am I wrong?
No, you're not. But I got questions about the whole timeline thing. I don't know when we should dive into that. Casey, do you have
Jump
do you
off the
actually
diving board and let's dive.
what?
I said, jump off the diving board. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, I'll say this and then I'll let Chancey because I feel like Chancey's going to have notes on this too. So my question was to this: do you think Jason is supernatural? And this is why I asked this because he either died and he's come back as some kind of like, apparition or whatever, or he didn't die and he was in the woods for 20 something years by himself with the camp right fucking there. So I understand that he might have been a little like, people shy, but he didn't have to live off the land if he actually survived. If he survived, he could have easily found his mama. So is Jason a real man that was a wood dweller for 23 years, or did he drown in the lake and is he a ghost?
So
What?
go ahead. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was
Go ahead, Casey.
I was just gonna, the plot that they want you to believe through like the end of part 2 is that he survived the drowning and he's just been out living in the woods for
Right.
however long as a wood dweller. But
in that
obviously at
case,
that point,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well, no, I was just gonna say that in that essence, though, by the end of 2, he kind of sort of becomes a supernatural entity because he keeps getting killed and coming back from the dead.
So for us to believe that timeline, we have to accept that Alice was dreaming about the kid pulling her into the lake. Because that would lead to Jason is supernatural and he could be whatever age you wanted or whatever. Because if she dreamed that, then yeah, sure, he's the appropriate age. If she didn't dream that, there's no way Friday the 13th, 2 or 3 years later, he's a grown ass adult. So it's like, and then, and so then that's all kind of like you could take what you want.
Oh, and on top of it, the fact that he's literally pulled himself out of the freaking woods and tracked her down in suburbia,
Right.
so that he can kill her and get revenge.
Right. And so then there's the thing about that. So we're not talking about these movies, but 2 through 4 have the most fucked up timeline. So Halloween, Jesus. Friday the 13th 2 starts. They're around that campfire talking about Jason, and he literally says the girl that survived disappeared 5 or 6 months ago, something like that. So you're telling me from the original Friday the 13th to part 2, it's only 5 to 6 months. Then there's no way there was another Friday the 13th in that time. I'm just saying. Then at the end of part 2 goes immediately into part 3. Like the people at the little, gas station convenience store are watching the news about what just happened in part 2. And then part 3 happens and all that. Again, no way there was another Friday the 13th in there. Then part 4.
Oh yeah, literally part
exactly
3
the same
starts
night.
on the same night as 2.
Yeah. So there's no way all of these events happened on a Friday the 13th. And I call bullshit on that because you're misleading your audience. All these movies happened within like 7 months of each other.
So you got to remember too that these movies, most of them took place in the 80s when people were
Years
hopped up on
apart.
cocaine.
Yeah.
So, and there was no internet at the time, so people generally got high and kept their opinions to themselves.
If I'm being generous, Friday the 13th, 1980 to Friday the 13th 4, whatever year that was, I want to say 87, 88. Literally, the span of those movies is no more than 7 months. No more than 7 months. Because you're taking part 2, she disappeared 5 or 6 months
Yeah.
ago, which means the first one happened 5 or 6 months ago. The next 2 movies are consecutive times. But you want us to believe it's all like crazy? Like what? No.
Well,
Stupid.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're not trying to win Academy Awards with the writing for these movies.
No, I know. But I think timelines are Friday the 13th's biggest problem. Like every franchise has an issue. For me, for Friday the 13th, it's the timelines. But I know we're only talking about the first movie, so yes.
So how crazy do you want to get?
Into the timelines, I don't know. I think I might be done with this.
Well, no, I meant like because you asked before about whether we thought that he was supernatural. But my explanation would explain both the supernatural nature of Jason, but also any issues with the timeline, except for the one movie in the series where it's not actually Jason doing the killing. And that is that he.
That it was a Friday the 13th.
I think it was the 5th one. But
In the
yeah. The theory, I guess you could call it. It's got a bit more proof to it than a theory, but the theory is that Jason is a form of a Deadite, not like the Deadites you get exactly from the Evil Dead, because he doesn't like infect others and cause them to become Deadites, but he is an undead machine because there's like comic book lore that ties it in together. However, in cinematic lore, in Jason Goes to Hell, when they're in the Voorhees house and looking around, on the dresser there's a dusty copy of the Necronomicon.
I think that's a stretch. I mean, later in the series, I think they're stretching to try to. It's just like how Halloween in the latest ones, they're talking about Michael like he's this, omnipresent thing that can never be killed. I think when you make 12 or 15 movies of the same series, you have to go that route. There's no way. Scream's the only one that did it right because it's a different killer every time. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, it's the same killer. And so it's like you have to figure out how they're progressing, like
Yeah.
you have to explain it somehow. So
Yeah. Yep.
but yeah, nice.
Fun fact, Friday the 13th was the first indie horror film to secure U.S. distribution from a studio.
That's not true. Halloween had that.
Not from a prominent studio.
Halloween was distributed more as an independent.
Yeah, Halloween was distributed as an independent by an independent, whereas Friday the 13th
Friday the
was
13th
distributed by
Paramount.
Paramount.
Yeah. Nice. So, let's do that at the end. Casey, do you have stuff? Because I feel like I'm like just taking over. If you had questions,
No.
like,
I just have commentary to go along with all kinds of stuff.
like throughout the season.
Yeah.
So, okay, first, like just very specific, but like not to go on too much. What were like specific things that you liked about the movie, Casey?
I mean, for the most part, it's a fairly simplistic story. I mean, literally, a child drowns in the fucking lake, and his psychotic, grieving mother loses her shit and comes back to the damn scene of the crime. And literally, 86 is everybody who works at said campgrounds
Yeah.
to get
She lost
revenge.
her son. She can't reconcile that he's gone, and she wants to blame everybody that could have saved him, even though they really couldn't have. It's
They
Right.
could have, but they were busy having sex.
Exactly. But let's be clear.
I mean,
Halloween set the
sex is a good
standard for
reason not
that.
to do your job.
Yeah, Halloween set the standard. So we knew in the opening scene of this movie, we knew those kids were going to die because Halloween had set that standard. If you have
Yep.
sex, you're going to die.
Yep. Oh, and
I know.
that
Blah, blah,
I actually
blah,
was just
Chainsaw Massacre set the stage for listening to fucking Leonard Skinner and fucking dying.
hey, no, hold on. They didn't do that until that piece of shit fucking remake, sir.
Define irony.
True. I mean,
A bunch of idiots dancing on a
it
plane.
literally,
A band that was made famous dying.
literally would have. It literally would have been fucking hard for them to do that in real time back in what 74.
Right?
Well,
But-
here's this song by this band that isn't going to release this song for 2 years.
You're not ready for it now, but your little brother's gonna love it.
Exactly.
But
They're all over the place.
earlier, Amanda brought up something about Jason. Actually, I think it might have been Casey that was talking about him. No, one of you two talked about Jason going out of the woods to find the
Anybody?
the survivor
Yeah.
in the
Alice.
city. Alice, thank you.
And he carried his mom's head with him. Like,
Do
where
you
did
know-
get that?
Do you know the story as to why that it ended up being that way?
No, but clearly you do.
Yes. She
mean-
actually
You doubt Chancey's horror knowledge?
she was looking to get a rapid escape from acting in general because she was dealing with a stalker.
I could see that. Alice was a good
Yeah.
final girl.
No, I mean each one of the 3 franchises has an amazing final girl
Yeah.
that the franchise kicks off with between Lori, Alice, and Nancy.
Yeah. My favorite is Chris in part 3 because by the end, her mind is so fucked that she keeps going between screaming and laughing, and they're putting her in the cop car, and she's just like, nah! Like,
Yeah.
that's legit. That's a legit trauma response to what just happened to you, and I loved that. I was so there for it.
I do have to ask because I've always wondered if this was just a me thing, but did anybody else ever think or mistake the actress that played Brenda for one of the actresses that was in Law and Order, like the older Law and Order? As
I
like
know
one of,
who you're talking about. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I can see it.
oh,
I
dude,
can
I
totally
always
picture
thought
it.
that was who that was, but like it was just like that's not who that is.
It's not
Oh.
her, but I see how you got there.
I was like, man, I mean, they sound alike, they look alike. And then while I'm here, the famous the famous scene where she is on the the archery range, and old boy takes that shot, and and misses her and scares her. That shot was actually taken by Tom Savini, the prop
Really?
master, the special effects guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a heavy
Well
archer.
noted
Yeah.
in special effects.
And here goes my fanboy sequence. Honestly, like enough cannot possibly be said about Tom Savini. I
And
mean,
never ever can you say enough.
never. No. I mean, from him getting his start with those two like Know Nothing movies back in '74 that caught the attention of George Romero on I think it was Martin that he first did it on, and then like I think it was Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, the Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah.
And then Maniac.
No, he was on Night of the Living Dead too. Not the original, but
The remake. Yeah, the remake makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the '80s one. That's Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, I thought there was a Night. Okay, never mind. My bad.
And then obviously, of course, after the George Romero stuff, he then took way off with this movie, and then did like TCM2, but like Maniac
Creep
was
Show.
on another.
Creep Show.
Creep Show, yeah. And Maniac's really kind of where he took off, like with like on a rocket ship, dude. I mean, it's not every day that you get to take a double barrel and shoot like a plaster cast of yourself in the face. What the
True.
fuck?
And I love that a lot of the effects in this movie were basically like pieces of latex they put together and stuck in an oven just so they could take them out and like slash them apart and run blood through them. Like, I just thought that was such a cool way to, like make somebody's neck so that you're slicing it or sticking it. Basically just like baked latex. Like, it's like thick Jello, like that's awesome.
The fact
legitimately everything was so simplistic about this movie that it's not like they were reinventing the fucking wheel. It's just like, let's try this and see what we get.
It's harder work. So people are very like, people now, like our kids' age, let's just say, even though you guys don't have kids, but if you did, our kids' age or even a little older, they're watching these old horror movies going, oh, that looks so stupid. And I'm like, what you don't understand is that none of this technology existed. And it was real people sitting on a work desk, throwing shit together like science projects, trying to figure out what's going to look like this, what's going to look like that. How are we going to make this work? And like setting up like an explosive scene that they spent so much money on, they could only do it once. And so it's just like people don't get how
literally
practical effects were such a laborious like work of love.
No, like literally like the final like attack on the Death Star scene in the original Star Wars movie. They literally had a model of the trench laid out on a table in a parking lot, and they literally drove back and forth up and down the length of the table, literally like taking pot shot with firecrackers at it to create the visual of laser beams shooting the Death Star.
Oh, sorry. Comments just popped up out of nowhere.
Oh shit!
But yeah, Chancey, I know you agree, and you'll probably say something, but I don't think anything can compare to practical horror effects that the ingenuity and the things people had to do to come up with that, because you didn't have a computer to simulate stabbing and blood and decapitations and whatever. It's all like you built it with your own fucking hands for real.
And that's honestly one of the biggest things that I've always admired about Tom Savini's talent, was because he really didn't have to think too much about what something may or may not look like from his experience in Vietnam. And in going further from that, the simplicity that you were talking about, to me, added a certain element of extra, fear from that, because of the fact that it's so simplistic until you really start to pay attention and notice the subtleties. Like with Kevin Bacon, you can tell the tone difference in the fake skin and stuff like that. When you don't notice those things and you see the actual cut and then it opens and bleeds like it really would if something like that happened, those things just, it adds that whole extra element of just, terror.
it's like Annie. You can totally tell that's fake, but really, but I mean, like we said, Halloween kept it really low key on the blood. It was very, very, and I know I think we might have had prom night in between, but Friday the 13th was really the first one to go super gore. Even Black Christmas kept it like low key. So
Yeah.
you're getting someone slashed across the throat, blood just like. If you look at that now, and even then, that's fake, but it's still so fucking cool because nobody was doing that.
So,
And personally, for me, it's scarier when there's less blood, but I also understand, what they're doing.
I feel like really quick we need to rehash a topic because, like you said, the comments just came up, and your father
Hello,
has a message
Father.
for you. It's just a house. Get with the program.
Thanks. Sorry, we just now saw your comments. They just now popped in. I feel so bad. Yeah, it's just $1 million. Don't worry about me.
Oh yeah, just 7 figures. So, but
Yeah, no big deal.
yeah, I
I spend that on
literally have
anything.
no idea. 'Cause I've been watching the upper corner, waiting for comments to pop up because I know that there's people watching, and like nothing has popped up. That's why.
Thanks,
Blame
Dad.
it on the Boogie Jackson 5.
Oh, he thought the audience score was like 55%. It was closer.
Oh wow.
Okay.
You guys,
yeah.
none of the 3 of you were that far off.
Right. I just
Right.
looked mine up, but so yeah, keep showing comments. Casey, was there
And
anything
your
else?
dad also
Oh, sorry.
said, and I quote, Friday the 13th broke ground on anatomically correct gore.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
never saw anyone get stabbed through the Adam's apple before. Oh.
Well,
Casey,
I mean,
what?
yes.
Oh.
No, I'm listening to what you were going to say.
Well, you were starting to say something else, and I interrupted you. So, but again, our internet's always a little bit off, so I apologize. Was there anything we have to circle back? Anything else you specifically really liked about the movie that you wanted to point out? Other than like plot stuff or like, super, we'll get into that, but like just overall, anything.
For me, it's just the big point is I love when things can be real and simple at the same time and still blow your freaking mind, like this movie or like the original Star Wars trilogy or things of that. Like when things started getting over the top and blown out of proportion with computers and all of that, it started to kind of sort of lose the luster for me. But I mean, not saying that it's still not great, but I just have a profound love for the practical and real effects, and I always have.
I mean, I think this movie has the same simplistic horror that Halloween has before all the other ones that come out after. Is that Halloween was like that could be anywhere. That could be your hometown. That could be you babysitting those kids, and that shit happens. It was very, very real in the essence of this could be anywhere America. And Friday the 13th, while a little different, who didn't go to summer camp at some point? Okay, a lot of kids, but a lot of kids did go to summer camp. And so that it's a simple thing that's supposed to be fun, whether you're a camper or a counselor or whatever. And then to think you're out in the wilderness and the only thing you're worried about is bears, and then some psycho can come in and kill you. Like, yeah, it's simplistic horror, which I really appreciate. Nightmare on Elm Street I love, but it's a whole different animal. I think Halloween and Friday the 13th really did the, teenage tropes justice. They're very much cautionary tales. I mean, we know John Carpenter didn't intend for this, but they're very much cautionary tales about the dangers for young girls having sex. Like, we know that's what it is. But, the other stuff is still really fun too.
Oh, for sure. I definitely dug that as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your dad definitely hit the nail on the head with that one.
He
Like-
said, I like the choice of weapons, always changing in what you would find at camp. I mean, the
I don't
sleeping
think he
bag.
said-
Who didn't like that one?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh my
great.
I mean, I don't legitimately think he used the same instrument 2 kills in a row in any of the damn movies.
No, in
Once
part
again.
3, that machete made a lot of appearances, but the other ones, I think you're right.
Yeah, and
That would be the one.
there was talk earlier about real fun fact. Well, not so fun fact, I should say. That snake that they kill in the cabin scene was not only a real snake that they killed, but when they killed it, they actually had to like restrain and detain the guy that brought the snake because he was like, when he realized they were actually going to kill it, he was like freaking out about it.
Wait, they killed a person's fucking pet snake?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about
Did they
pet. I mean, I'm not sure if it was a pet or if it was like a, hey, I got this to make money with,
I
but
know that guy's a billionaire now.
we both know he's not. That's also
They
one of the
had to
reasons what
fucking sue somebody. If I didn't know, that's what was happening.
that's also another reason why I'm like, you know what, fuck Sean Cunningham. He's kind of an asshole.
I mean, yeah, I get that they probably had to kill a real snake. I don't like it, but I made my peace with it. But you're telling me some guy brought in like a wrangled snake that he had probably been working with and they just chopped it into pieces and expected him to leave? Oh, hate this world.
They diced it up on the bias.
Could call him. How do you call a snake? So let me go next because I think Chancey will have more things to say. I have a lot of comments, but really the only like the two main things that I really love about this movie are obviously the spooky aesthetic. It's the woods, it's storming, it is the perfect scary movie surroundings. And obviously when you want stuff to be scary, you want it to be dark, you want it to be maybe rainy, storming, whatever. And then you're also isolated. So I love the aesthetic. I love the score. The score is so fucking fantastic. The
I
strings
mean,
are
at the end of the day, let's
mwah.
just be honest. If you don't have an amazing score, at the end of the day, you probably really aren't going to have much of a shot with a horror movie.
Well, yeah, if you try to watch a horror movie without music, it's horrible.
Yeah, Harry Manfredini definitely rocked it.
He did amazing. I mean,
Amadeus.
it's so classic. I mean, we know the whole they came from like a saying killer mommy or killing mommy or
No.
whatever, and then but
Key
four with
Key
the
and
scream,
Ma.
yeah, it's just so simple. It's just like John Carpenter and Halloween. So
Yep.
simple, but you throw that, what is a 1/5 note or whatever it is, like you throw one thing in there
Yeah.
and mess it up, and then it's just like fucking terrifying.
No, that
So yeah.
for me, like, you can't gloss over and not bring. I mean, all three of the franchises have that recognizable
Oh yeah.
gore element.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Halloween, Elm Street, fucking Friday the 13th. Like the second you hear that score, probably not as much. I mean, you have a little bit more hope with Friday the 13th that you might not recognize it per se. But
Yeah.
especially Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, most people, even if they don't know directly or haven't seen the movies directly, would know that's the Halloween theme or that's the Nightmare on Elm Street theme.
Well, and I actually think, I mean, obviously the Halloween score is my favorite, and I'm not just biased. I just think John Carpenter's a brilliant.
No, it was great. Yeah. No,
I
I
have a lot of his
agree.
albums, but if I to pick one of the three that is like the most deceptively scary, it's definitely Nightmare on Elm Street because it's just dun, 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 dun. Like it's so Halloween begins in your face. Friday the 13th is in your face. Nightmare on Elm Street is very like you could think it's lulling you into a nice little dream, and then it's like lulling you into a nightmare. Like, I have to give them that for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's solid.
Chancey, did you have anything specific that you loved about the movie?
I really love the fact that they put some poor, 10-year-old kid in a lake in the middle of like September
In New Jersey.
in Jersey. Yeah. Speaking of which, Ari Lehman is his name, the guy that played Freddy for the first time as that child. I actually have a signed little off-brand Funko Pop of
Oh, nice.
Jason. Yeah. My roommate Vito got it for me for it was like my birthday or Christmas or something like that. But yeah, it was I thought that was pretty cool. But I mean, as far as stuff that I liked, I mean, outside of the previously mentioned stuff with like Tom Savini and the Betsy Palmer reveal, and always thinking that was the lady from Law and Order.
It's
I always
again. I see how you got there.
I always hated the fact that like Kevin Bacon would rarely talk about Friday
That
the
annoys
13th.
me.
Like for real, it was so bothering. Like he
Dude, right?
yeah, I mean he kind of does now a little
Why
bit,
would
but
you not
like
use it?
yeah, and it seems, but now it just doesn't really feel like it's genuine because like now it's been so far down the line that well everybody loves this thing now, so I'm gonna lean into this thing. It's like, man, like you should have just been cool with it. Everybody else was cool with it when they came up on the up doing it. I mean,
Okay,
Paul Rudd, Paul.
To be
Okay,
fair,
to be fair,
because I agree with you to an extent, but Kevin Bacon very, very quickly became a very huge star. And so
Not for 4 years.
Huh?
Not for 4 years.
Okay, but he was in a lot of stuff, and then after that, very consecutively. And so I think it's easy when people aren't fangirling over your thing to be like, yeah, that's what got me my start, but I'm also embarrassed by it. I mean, crap, I had a really good example. Oh, Jennifer Aniston. You don't see Jennifer Aniston bragging about Leprechaun. It's because people haven't embraced it enough to make it this huge cult thing. If Leprechaun were like Halloween or Friday the 13th status, Jennifer Aniston would be eating that shit up. But she doesn't have to because nobody likes Leprechaun that much. There are a handful of people that are like, oh, but
her performance wasn't that great.
She was a kid. And
I love Leprechaun.
Oh yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is it doesn't have the same giant enough following for her to invest herself in it. I don't think she's denying it. She's not saying, "Oh, I hate that movie. I wish I'd never done it." Like Alec Baldwin in Beetlejuice, that fucking guy. She's not saying she never wished she would have done it. She's just not embracing it because nobody's asking her to. And I think that was Kevin Bacon's thing probably too. Was like it wasn't, this big. I mean, he had Footloose. Footloose is what defined him. And I guarantee you, he only got that because of what he was packing in this movie in that Speedo. But there was lots of dick to be seen in this movie under those tight Speedos.
Little fan service, just a little fan service.
Yes, I like it. Okay, so anything, Casey, that you really didn't like?
This movie, actually, no, there really isn't. My issues with this franchise don't pop up until probably about
Jason Goes to Manhattan.
Oh no, it starts before that. But it goes off the fucking rail with Friday the 13th Part 8. And that's still a ways down the road before we get there. But yeah. Spoiler alert. Casey will not have a nice thing to say about that fucking movie when we get there. But I mean, to me, this movie helped launch a franchise, and whether it's my number one favorite franchise or Halloween, it still helped launch an iconic part of slasher movie history in the 80s.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th was the shit. Nightmare on Elm Street was the shit. Halloween was the shit. I mean, those three movies, without those three movies, the horror would not be what horror is today. I don't care what anybody in the world
Definitely. I mean, Halloween made
says.
babysitting scary and Halloween night, but Friday the 13th made summer camp scary. Like, that's,
And
you
Nightmare on Elm
know,
Street made going to sleep scary.
well, yeah.
They all took something very simple and real for everybody and made it 100% terrifying. Jaws made going swimming in the ocean terrifying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
So I had the thing that I always have in most of these movies, so it's not specific to this one, but because I had to endure it, I'm gonna tell you.
oh,
The kissing noises. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horror movies, especially 80s and 90s horror, the mic must be so, like, you can literally hear them licking each other's faces off. It is so disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, if I was watching a porno and that was the sound I heard, I'd be immediately turned off. Like, I don't understand why all these movies got this so bad that all you hear is it's just so nasty.
yeah.
You're not wrong though.
I
Not
know. I'm not
at
wrong.
all.
It's in all of them, and it's gross. So gross.
Like, literally, as soon as she said, this is like one of my biggest complaints about all of these movies. It's like,
It
I
is.
know exactly where she's
Yeah.
going. It's the kissing noises.
In any given horror movie, that is going to be my one main like ick. Because it's just one of those things that makes my skin crawl. And we all have them. They're different things, whatever. But the sound of people kissing in horror movies, because it's so thick, it's literally like clocking. You know what I mean? Like, it's just. I know kissing makes noise. Like, I understand that. Believe me, but it's not that like. I just I can't. Okay, so hold on. Let me say this. Stop it. This is another thing that is not unique to this movie. It's an overall
Okay.
horror movie thing. But in this
Okay.
movie, you really like see it. Marcy and Jack are doing their thing. Ned's on the top bunk. You can smell a dead body. Even like an hour or two after death, they've shit themselves. They're like, you could smell something. Unless they had absolutely nothing in their body, they have peed and shit themselves. So horror movies always ignore this, and I understand why. It's not, I get it, but it just bothers me that they're having sex under this bunk with a dead guy up there, and I'm like, you should be able to smell him by now. But that's a little
Right.
The last thing, and this is where I noticed the thing. Oh, what? Sorry, Chancey.
I have to respectfully disagree.
Okay.
He would.
Well, that's fine.
Just to-
Just tell me why.
Well, just about the premise. Now, I will give the caveat that more often than not, the giveaway about the dead person should be more blood related than. Well, I mean, I guess in theory,
I agree with that, but
if you're gonna smell something, it'd be more of the blood smell rather than like shit and piss, because that's not always a prerequisite.
depending
And
on how
if
much blood there was.
yeah, but I mean, I was just I was
There would
just kind
still
of
be a smell, though.
but it's one that you could easily be overlooked.
I mean, fair. They're all, it's like John Carpenter said about Halloween. These kids aren't dying because they had sex. It has nothing to do with that. They're dying because they're kids and they're focused on other things other than what's happening around them because they're horny teenagers. They didn't
Yeah, I
die
was
because
gonna
they had
say.
sex. They just weren't paying attention.
Well, and except for in this one, they're mostly dying because they had sex.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Okay,
what
but
Mrs.
go ahead.
Pamela said.
So that brings me to my next point. So I'm going to tell you the thing I wrote down, and it's a thing I've always thought about this movie. And then earlier today, I noticed something I have never noticed ever. One of my things I didn't like about this movie is that I wanted more information into the Alice, Bill, Steve love triangle because you clearly can see that there's one there. But they give you Alice and Bill are laying on the towel together at the lake, and then they're kind of, they're flirty. You see, like they're whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what's her deal with Steve? Because he clearly likes her. Maybe she reciprocates, maybe she doesn't. But then he touches her face, and I'm like, you could have cut out Marcy's stupid rain story and given us more of this, like, love triangle. You know
Yeah.
what I noticed today?
What?
The scene where they're in. So I assume it's Alice's bunk with the snake. Do you guys assume that's
You're right.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, you would think.
Okay.
Otherwise, why was she there?
Exactly. In her robe, like she had just had a shower.
Right.
When you're watching and they all come in, up to the left, hanging on a hanger, is that plaid shirt that Bill is wearing when he gets killed.
Well, now.
So were they actually a couple and just trying to hide it? Or, I mean, clearly they were. They were just fucking on the down low or something. But I need to, okay, so anybody listening, I need to know if anybody else. That is the first time I have seen it, but it's like, you know how you hang a hanger up on the side and it's like, spread out? It's clearly that checkered shirt that he died in.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that movie again because I have not ever fucking noticed that before.
Hand to God, never noticed it until just now. And now I'm like, who was behind the scenes of this movie fucking with people like Taylor Swift Easter egg style? Love it.
Yeah, it wasn't Sean S. Cunningham because he's not that sneaky and sly.
Yeah, go watch it back just for that part because that's why I literally had that reaction. I was like, what?
When they're chopping up the snake?
Yeah, so like right before he chops up the snake, it's when Alice and Bill are standing there and they're like, back and forth, and then everybody comes in behind them, and then it like you can kind of see it peek over to the left, and that shirt's clearly hanging on the hanger.
Interesting.
Okay.
My mind is blown.
I will be going back and well, at least you're not coming into this thing having your mind pre-blown.
Exactly.
So, Chance, do you have things that you hate about this movie?
And
or what?
Plot holes. Even though we're an hour and 30 minutes in, I feel like
I mean,
we have things.
It's like there are certain plot holes that kind of throw me for a loop, but they're really not worth mentioning because, I mean, as far as that goes, they did a fairly decent job trying to, not have too many blatantly obvious plot holes.
I feel like the plot holes start to take over later in the franchise.
Kinda.
Matching up.
I really only have one big one.
Well,
which is that? Which one's that?
I'm sure your husband appreciates that.
Sometimes he likes the double penetration. No, I think there's obvious like little plot holes, but my biggest one with this is two things. So Mrs. Voorhees kills Steve.
Mm-hmm.
His Jeep is abandoned. Who knows how the far fuck away? But she managed to drive back in that Jeep, even though it was broken down. Then she gets out, comes into Alice, and she's completely dry, even though she just murdered Steve, and obviously she's been out in the woods during that whole thing.
Mhm.
And then my
Rainstorm, yeah.
last one is she must CrossFit, obviously. She throws Brenda through the window, and not less than 30 seconds later, she's pulling up in that Jeep to talk to Alice. How'd she do that? Just saying.
So
Uh-huh.
I shall begin my
There's no way.
attempt.
No. Okay.
I'll start with the Jeep. I don't think it ever actually shows Steve as being very, technically inclined as far as mechanicking. In
No.
theory, all Mrs. Voorhees had to do was, fuck with his distributor cap, and his car's fucked. And then
But
she
you
gets
just
back
go drive
there.
a certain length, and then it would just die.
In theory, if you're wanting for if you're looking for a misfire or something, you could loosen a spark plug. It'll run normal for a while, then it'll start to fuck up.
All right.
But so as far as the Jeep goes, there's that, because then you can just go back and fix it up, and then off you go. Bob's your uncle. The staying dry.
Trying to do that while she's killing all these teenagers and setting up their bodies and throwing them through windows,
Well, with the amount of ground to cover, the more people that are dead, the less people that are going places, the more ample spots you have to set up bodies. And then
moving them around.
Well,
she's He-Man. Give her a break.
She CrossFits.
And also it could be any number of other things that we never actually saw. What if she has a wheelbarrow? She could actually, maybe she took engineering and came up with a little pulley system and then put them in a little wheelbarrow and then carted them to where she was staging them.
Maybe she put a voodoo curse on her son's dead body and brought him back, and he was working with her, and that's how he saw her get her head chopped off.
Necronomicon.
It could happen.
Okay.
But no, the body moving part, I'm with you on, because that's ridiculously heavy. Dead bodies, dead weight, ridiculously heavy.
Well,
The staying dry.
Horror movies ignore.
The more you're gonna.
And how hard it is to move a dead body.
Yeah, right. But the staying dry thing, maybe from the waist down it's difficult to explain, but waist up, them old school ponchos were no joke. Back before they really kind of tried to give a fuck about the environment, when they were just making these things out of whatever because hey, let's make money and make quality products, environment be damned. Those things were, ultra waterproof, not necessarily waterproof, but resistant to a certain degree. Hell, Steve's raincoat, when Pamela comes up and gets him on the get-got, that thing is I've seen ponchos nowadays that are just flimsy and ridiculously thin. That thing was made up of 150 modern ponchos.
Okay, fine.
But I'm not denying the fact that the waist down you can't really explain that away.
I guess. Casey, you have any favorite quotes?
I think probably my favorite one is right after you get the reveal of Mrs. Voorhees getting out of the Jeep and all of that.
Name?
Yes, actually it is. Now that I think about it, I forgot. I thought I still had my Stifler quote up. But yeah, she literally walks into the building to find out what the hell's going on. It's like, what kind of monster did that? Bitch, it was
You?
you that did this.
Yeah. You?
It's
Yeah.
like, you know good and hell well that she's the only one left. Why are you trying to freaking hide it? Just
And
announce
why
yourself
put
as being
her?
psycho.
That's the other thing I always wonder about in these movies. Like, okay, so Halloween, the original, you can assume he picked Jamie Lee because she was the one that came up to his door. It was random.
Right.
At that
Yeah.
point, yeah, no, it's his sister, which was bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But in Nightmare on Elm Street, you also have an explanation. But in this movie and subsequent movies, why do they pick the one particular person that's going to be the final quest? You know, was it maybe because Alice seemed weak, but also she tormented Alice. So it's like you want the last person to be tortured. You want to show them all the dead bodies, even though they drop out of trees from nowhere unexpectedly. That's another thing. But your purpose is to torture that person before you kill them. Why
When they're
Alice?
on the top level of the bunk bed.
I mean, I'm assuming it's because she was a woman. And okay, while they're saying sex is bad, let's be real, women are more held to a bad standard for sex than men are. So if you're a girl, especially in the 50s or the 80s or whatever, and you're just having sex, but Alice wasn't really having sex that we could see. But Bill's shirt was in her room, so you know.
So that's kind of where my theory on that kind of comes into play here. So it's a few kind of different things all at once. Okay. I'm not 100% on this, so I'm going to have to ask you guys to fact check me on this. But, you know, when the person that was supposed to have the duty in the kitchen was killed right out the gate at the beginning of the movie, didn't Annie end up kind of taking over some of the responsibility of the kitchen duty?
Annie was the one that got killed, and then Alice. Yeah, she did.
Or I'm sorry, Alice. Yeah,
No, I know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Alice did. Yeah, you're right.
But okay, so she did end up doing a lot of kitchen duty stuff.
From what you could tell, yeah.
Okay, well, one explanation on that is that Pamela worked in the kitchen, which is why she wasn't able to watch Jason when he was when he died. Then to piggyback on your explanation, because you're right. I mean, while there are implied, you know, intimate elements between Bill and Steve, you don't, like, even when everybody else is out doing their thing and they're being observed, she's not being overtly flirty at all. Yeah. So for all intents and purposes, according to Mrs. Voorhees, she's, you know, doing like she should have, like, she's doing like the counselor should have done back when Jason was alive. Right. And then, unfortunately, though, what happens in situations like that is that after everybody else died, the insanity kind of just took over, and then there was nobody else to target except for Alice. And
it's like, why'd she save her for last? If she wasn't important enough because she wasn't a slut, that's what we're getting at. She wasn't slutty. So I don't mean me and you, like that's what we think, but that's what the movie, like, you know.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking though.
Enough. Why would you not kill her at the beginning? Like, that's another thing. I think that, you know, obviously we want a good girl, final girl. That's
because she didn't deserve it.
And that's why Lori's a virgin. But at the same time, it's like, why do you want to torture the innocent one? Like, I don't get it.
So, like, I think part of it is attempting to apply logic to an illogical character. I think a lot of what it really boils down to is the reason she ended up being the last was because of the fact that she had all of the traits that were more virtuous towards what Mrs. Voorhees expected from the staff, as well as identifying with her from seeing her working in the kitchen. And, you know, if you're going to think of it in a crazy person state, that can also kind of lighten the load of the crazy with like, well, it's not her fault because if she's all like, oh, they all let Jason die because they're all the people that were there when it happened.
Right.
Because she's projecting the reality, or I should say, she's projecting the constant reliving of the trauma of Jason dying. And in that reliving of that trauma, Alice is essentially her surrogate.
Yeah, I could see that.
But then, like I was saying though, once everybody else is dealt with, and then the insanity then just grabs hold, because I mean that's literally all that it is just pure insanity, and there's nothing that can be done about that. Then she shifts her, attitude and thinking towards her because she no longer views her as a potential surrogate of herself and the acting right. She's just one of those counselors at this camp that should have been watching him better. He was a bad swimmer.
They were making love while my young boy drowned.
Right?
That's a good quote too. She was so theatrical, and I was fucking here for it.
And that's what's up, Betsy Palmer, man.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Dennis Hopper in Texas Chainsaw 2. Like, I have to play this shit fucking movie. I am going to play it to its fullest.
Yeah.
I think my favorite quote from the movie, I have a few, but I'll just say one. Ralph, poor Ralph. But the way he says, "You'll never come back again." Like the way he says it, it's so sing-songy. Like
it's so funny.
It's like innocent but also scary. And then you say, "Death curse," but just
see that was
he delivers that "You'll never come back again."
See, that was Ralph gave me mine, and it was actually, "It's got a death curse." Like that. Yeah, that is hilarious. It's got a death curse.
God sent me.
Makes me think of that guy that I can't remember what he has a channel called Bowser Videos. He did a lot of those videos where he's like the weird guy all these places, and in one of the videos he's like, "Notice me, senpai, notice me." That's kind of what it made me think of. And it's got a death curse. Notice me, senpai. It's got a death curse. That'd have been great if it would have been.
You'll never come back again.
That'd have been so great if it had been delivered in that capacity. Like, it's got a death curse.
Okay, here's my other one. And this one annoys me. Because I understand being a vegetarian, but I felt like this was the worst comeback ever. How can you guys eat that stuff? It smells like dead animal. Because it is dead animal. Like, that's the worst. Like, if you're not a vegetarian, why are you not a vegetarian? It smells like dead animal. Yeah, we know it's dead animal, and we're cooking it. Like,
right? That dead animal smells pretty good while it's cooking, I suppose. I don't know what to tell you.
It depends.
It does depend because I like a good steak. Oh man.
I was gonna say I've smelled some pretty fucking amazing steaks on a grill. Or even
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, that wasn't on the grill. It was
other
in the
places
oven
as well. I mean, barbecue chicken. Yeah, we're not going down that fucking rabbit hole. So, if you had to rate the movie out of 5, co-host, what would you give the movie?
I mean, I really like this movie. Like I said, it plays on the tropes of our childhood of going to summer camp, and I have definitely been to summer camps after I saw this movie and walking through the woods at night where I'm like, and I know nothing's going to happen, but I was like, you don't know.
These people at this camp didn't think anything was going to happen either, and none of them ever went home to see their mommies.
Well, exactly. I definitely think, inspired by Halloween, I will call Mrs. Voorhees the OG boy mom. I think the quintessential boy moms, and you know who you are, Mrs. Voorhees was one of the originals. I don't know. I mean, I love this movie. It's cheesy, but it's also just fun and scary, and a few good jump scares. And I feel like I had so much more stuff to say. I am going to give it 3.9 severed heads for overall everything. If I'm having to give it based on how I love it, I'm going to give it like 4.3.
Chance of motherfucking cry.
I'm going to give it 4 decapitated Tom Savinis playing Pamela Voorhees out of 5.
Nice.
I would go probably 3.8 bacon bits out of 5.
Bacon bits.
And yes, I am going to steal that from Chance.
They were not bits.
It tastes like Kevin Bacon. There's it's a great song. It's such a good song. If you, I couldn't even. We'll talk about it after the recording. You got to listen to it, Amanda. You'll love it.
Okay.
So, obviously, we can't wrap up the episode though and get out of here without thanking the listeners for being here each and every week. You guys are awesome, especially how much you guys have been in the trenches with us the last couple of weeks and everything that you guys have done for Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, and 3 Men and a Baby. The fact that almost 3.5 years later, we finally broke into triple digits for listens per episode. So
Woo!
hats off to everybody who listened to the last couple episodes as well for helping make that reality, or that dream, become a reality. So really quick before I go into my tangent, let's just go around the table and everybody can say their goodbyes and shameless plugs and where you can be found and all of that happy shenanigans. Co-host.
Okay. I'm Amanda. I am host of the Sip List. It is currently on a hiatus, but I have several seasons for you to go listen to. The Sip List is everywhere you get your podcast and also at thesiplistpod.com. So we do top 5s of about everything you can imagine. So go check it out.
Sometimes top 10s.
Sometimes. That is true. And sometimes trivia contests where people lose.
So before Chancey gets to say goodbye, Halloween is the biggest piece of trash freaking franchise in the world.
Hey now.
Somebody's still bitter over the fact that she lost a freaking debate that she designed the rules for.
The debate was a different episode. The contest was... Wait, no, I won that contest.
You did not win the debate.
The Halloween
Debate
versus
between
Nightmare on
Joey
Elm
and
Street.
Barney? Oh, well, I'm not even talking about that.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Joey versus Barney.
Oh, well, yeah, that's different. That's, yeah, and yeah, that's fine. You won.
So that's
say
the
how.
first time those 2 words have ever come out of her mouth. So, Chance, the floor is
You
yours,
won
sir.
by the popular vote.
Well,
There's no electoral college in debate wins.
True story. True story.
as far as Instagram and TikTok, it's the Red Eye Roundtable. On X, it's Red Eye Table. And you can catch me on YouTube under Maniacal Music Musings.
Good luck.
I feel
And then-
Nancy's trying to mimic Aaron's dulcet tones.
They are sweet, docile tones, aren't they?
Hey, Aaron has some sweet, could put you to sleep tones. And I know he took that as an insult, but I swear I didn't mean it that way. I meant that in the nicest possible way. Like, dude, your voice is so melodic that I could just pass out and be sublimely happy.
Oh, I don't remember. I guess I must not have remembered that because I don't remember him really getting. I don't remember him. I've never seen
Maybe
Aaron.
he didn't. I just felt like he got kind of somehow. And I'm like, no, It's the best compliment, like for real.
I think him and I might share a certain inability to detect things.
Okay.
Because I didn't.
With human emotion. Okay.
Your bullshit meter's broken.
Yeah, that thing. But no,
Okay,
for real
so
though.
in
I mean,
Friday the 13th Part 2, this girl gets out of the lake. Oh wait, never mind. Ignore me.
okay, well, okay then.
I saw
Oh,
what it actually was. I'm high.
Yeah, happens to the best of us.
Amanda was gonna record a podcast, but then she got high.
It's good old Russell Todd before he gets killed in shopping mall.
Do do do.
So rather quickly before I let you know what's coming up on an evening at the movies, Chance of Pants already knows this, but I just want to share with the world that I currently, as of last week, picked up a movie that he is recommending that both Amanda and I watch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
Shudder. I just have to watch it.
Yeah,
The
but
problem
Don't
is I can't get to my movie room now, and I don't think anywhere else in my house I'm going to be able to have the volume that you said you need.
Listen,
The volume
Crawl.
is quiet.
crawl.
no,
Yeah, no,
she
I'm
would
not
break
gonna do
some.
that.
She would break something again. She'd like
But-
re-break the
Yeah,
ankle. and-
no. Love you.
Come
No.
on, come
Yeah.
on.
Okay, so Chancey, let me tell you something.
Let
The
me,
other
let me
day,
tell you. Okay.
last week, let me tell you a story. You see this window behind me, like back here?
Okay.
So that's a door. Let my dog
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
The cat tried to run out. I tried to catch her. I didn't. Leaned to the table. Table flipped over. So
Yeah, I remember
had
that.
to push the wheelchair and crawl all the way back here to get behind this chair to pull myself up off the floor. And I missed the first time and fell again. And I got so sad I threw up. And then I was able to. So, no. Don't ask me to do anything else. Not happening.
This is
Do you have to
exactly
go
why
up?
your husband needs to not leave you alone.
What?
Do you have to go up or downstairs to get to the movie room?
Upstairs. Upstairs.
Oh, come
Not
on.
Upstairs
doing
is
it. Not
actually-
doing it.
Well, I was gonna say you could totally do what we all did when we were children and just sit on the step and then boop, and then sit on the step and boop.
No.
Just hang on to
I
your
really
railing.
wish I had a Mrs. Deagle scenario where I had one of those things that goes up the railing.
Those cool chairs.
Yeah, but no. So I'll
Well-
get it
And
watched. I
coming
can
up-
get it watched.
And coming up next week on An Evening at the Movies and Literature Reapers as well, we will be talking about The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the book, and the movie. And Shannon will be back with us, as well as we will be discussing, like I said, the book and the movie as well. Plus, Animation Month coming up in August, followed by Stephen King Birthday Bonanza and Halloween Horror Fest. So, with all of
Yeah.
that said,
Yeah.
this was a lot of fun. It's always fun. It's been a while since we've actually gone almost 2 hours for a freaking
And I only
podcast.
touched like a third of my notes.
I can relate, dude. I've been there.
Oh no, that's
But
why
yeah.
I fully prepared. As soon as you both started saying you had notes and all that, I'm like, I'm not doing shit for this episode because if I do notes as well, I'm like, we probably could have been here for at least another
Hey,
hour.
Casey. Casey's notes
What?
matter.
Casey's notes do matter, but at the same time, I don't. fuck it. There's nobody watching right now, so I'm just gonna fucking rip the band-aid off and say it. An evening at the movies does not do 3, 4, 5 hour long episodes like other podcasts that shall remain nameless.
Yeah, we do what we think is right for the people. So yeah, that's cool. But we also missed talking about Kevin Bacon's belly flop in the lake. So there's many more notes to be discussed.
Well, I
For another
feel like there's
time.
multiple different avenues that we can go down for revisiting this and bringing up more stuff.
Oh wait, sorry.
Because
Hold on.
there is a remake that came out in like 2009.
Real quick, like 5-second answer. If you're
sorry.
Alice and you come to that Jeep and you see Annie in the passenger seat, what are you doing?
Evidently not turning around and running.
Wait, what did she do again? I forgot.
She ran away. She opened the door. She saw Annie in the passenger seat, screamed and ran away. I'm getting in that Jeep and driving.
Oh yeah. Well, at least seeing if it turns over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm gonna. Yeah, I would try to start the vehicle at the very least. You know, hey, see.
She's just like, oh, dead body, bye.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess in the moment though, if you're not exactly conditioned to seeing dead bodies,
Fight or flight should have kicked in.
yeah, for sure. Which is, I think, fight won out in the end because she cut that head off with one clean swipe, and
Yes, she did.
Right.
that machete didn't look exactly like it was the sharpest tool in the shed.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying.
no.
So really
All right.
quick before Amanda says goodbye, I also added to my collection this week A24 movies,
Nice.
Ex Machina,
Nice.
and a certain Academy Award winner that reintroduced the world to a brilliant actor who played the amazing role of Data in the Goonies. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Good one. It's messed up. It's weird, but it's cool.
I have not seen an A24 movie that has not been messed up in some way, shape, or form.
True.
That's valid. That is valid.
Even the very first A24 movie that we did on An Evening at the Movies, also known as my introduction to A24,
Midsummer.
that was recommended by asshole Harvey and his.
I loved that. The look on y'all's face when I was talking about fucking that lady getting back and help pushing.
But with all of that said, like, we're literally, I mean, we may as well just fucking kill 90 seconds right now and make it around 2.5 or 2 hours. Oh, fuck, you're peeing. I already got up and went, so.
Wheelchair, you asshole.
Their own. Oh, yeah, well.
If you have to pee, it takes you like 30 seconds to get to the bathroom. It takes me like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean.
And you have the actual getting out of the chair and
well, that was including that, but still, that's a long time.
Oh, well, we don't need to get into graphic details, but Amanda, would you like to say goodbye and wrap up the show as only you can do?
I would. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. We love you, and we hope you all come back for An Evening at the Movies. Goodbye.
Peace and hair grease. Okay.